Namaskar. My name is Mitra Bandu Poudel. Welcome you all to this special program entitled Diplomatic Eye. This will be an in-depth analysis on different issues regarding international relations, foreign affairs and diplomacy. Today I have come up with first edition of this program. I will be exploring Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda's recent visit to India and its weaknesses. PM Prachanda traveled to India on official business from May 31 to June 3. Since taking office in December last year, this was Prachanda's first international visit. Prior to this, PM Prachanda has been criticized with the fact that he missed the Boa Forum for Asia, which took place at the end of March in China, and the 5th conference of the least developed countries LDCs in Doha, both of which are significant high-level gatherings. Prachanda's reluctance to take part in the Boa Forum for Asia was a topic in media and diplomatic channels. As per him, Nepal did not choose to boycott the Boa Forum for Asia. He stated that Chinese ambassador Chen Song had advised him not to attend the forum due to a challenging political environment in Kathmandu. This was his justification in response to a question raised in the National Assembly recently. One thing need to be noted that King Birendra was invited as a distinguished guest at the Boa Forum for Asia's 2001 inauguration. The attendance of the king at the meeting, according to the then Chinese President Jiang Zemin, added prestige to it. Moreover, the king gave noteworthy speech during the occasion. According to officials, the majority of bilateral agreements in India included energy cooperation, cross-border energy trade, institutional arrangements for long-term energy trading between India and Nepal, as well as issues relating to transit, the building of petroleum pipeline, integrated checkpoints, the opening of a railway yard, and projects involving connectivity and infrastructure. It was also agreed on digital payments between Nepal and India, build a dry port in the Chandani Dodhara region of Nepal, open integrated checkpoints there, and open a new integrated checkpoint in Bhairava. According to officials, agreements were signed regarding the construction of 2 hydropower projects, Lower Arun and Phukot Karnali, by Indian developers, a cross-border electricity transmission line, and an agreement providing chemical fertilizer to Nepal. Prachanda's greatest accomplishment in the view of some former Nepali ambassadors was getting Prime Minister Modi to agree to a 10,000 megawatt power swap over a 10-year period. Earlier, Modi's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Foreign Secretary B.M. Quatra had ruled out the possibility of such trade. It is a ritual visit for continuation of political and diplomatic dialogues. His inclusion of his daughter in the meeting with Doval and Quatra instead of a representative from the foreign ministry was a serious vulnerability. This visit has also been criticized on the basis of a few weaknesses. Major 4 such flaws are mentioned here. Number 1, land swap option. According to Kathmandu Post, Nepal's Prime Minister said that Nepal can think about exchanging the Kalapani region with India in order to acquire land access to Bangladesh through the Indian chicken snake during a meeting with his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi on Thursday. Our Prime Minister denied that it was not discussed with his counterpart but was communicated only with Nepali journalists. A section of Indian territory known as the Chicken Snake or Siliguri corridor borders China, Bangladesh, Nepal and Bhutan, but it is uncertain whether India will approve of such a land swap deal because India's strategic circle regards this strip as extremely sensitive and significant for India for geopolitical reasons. Was it necessary to give land swap option from Prime Minister level? Even if it were a better option, why didn't the government create an informed debate at home? If the leader starts providing options publicly instead of practicing diplomatic norms, how can he or she gain credibility and trustworthiness? some of the options to be left for the negotiation table. The second issue is puja at Mahakaleshwar temple. At the Mahakaleshwar temple, Ujjain, Prime Minister Dahal presented 108 kilos of Rudraksha beads and 51,000 Indian rupees, making his first visit to a temple in front of a general public. However, he has since made it clear after his return to Nepal that this participation was merely a gesture of cultural diplomacy. The PM dressed in ochre for the occasion to follow the protocol. Professor Achyut Wagle put it as saffronization of Dahal's diplomacy. Experts believe that this temple diplomacy was to demonstrate to the BJP leadership his Hindu credentials and persuade them that having him in office was beneficial for India's best interests vis-a-vis China. Given it 2023 in Indian Express. Prime Minister was criticized that he had supported secularism and that Hindu hegemony was to blame for centuries of prejudice in Nepalese society. If the Prime Minister sincerely introspect and transform him, majority of Nepali people will forget his past weaknesses. Such a strategic move by the leaders always confuses the audience. After a week of Mahakaleshwar Darshan, Prachanda went to Pashupatinath temple along with the team of ministers who were participated in puja in Ujjain. Number 3 is pleasing India, ignoring China. President Ramchandra Poudel approved a contentious reform to Nepal's citizenship legislation that gives foreign women to marry Nepalis practically instant citizenship and guarantees them political rights hour before the Prime Minister departed from Kathmandu. However, it has been temporarily halted by a single bench of the Supreme Court led by Justice Manoj Kumar Sharma. Article published in the Indian Express on June 2, 2023, it has been expressed that the two parties agreed on contract of the development of the 679 megawatt Lower Arun and 480 megawatt Phukot Karnali by Indian public sector undertakings, National Hydropower Corporation and Satluj Jal Nigam, with India agreeing to increase the existing purchase level 400 megawatt of Nepal generated power by multiples. Delhi argued that no electricity produced by Nepalese businessmen with the Chinese investment would be bought. That Chinese investment in all significant areas will be discouraged is made very apparent by this. Number 4, not adequate homework prior to the construction of international airport. Media report assert that the Gautam Buddha International Airport features an instrument landing system ILS. The system is not in use because it needs authorization from India due to the airport's close proximity to the neighboring nation. To expand the number of passengers, the government must gain India's consent, enter into the appropriate contracts, offer the required services at the airport and develop a clear plan. Even after the international airport was operational, it shows a weakness on the part of the government that it was unable to secure support from India. The government should have taken the lead in these areas from the very beginning of the international airport's development. In a nutshell, it will be unfair if we see only weaknesses in Prime Minister's India's visit. The Indian government's desire to buy 10,000 megawatt of electricity in the next 10 years, increase hydro investment, allowing Nepal to export surplus electricity to Bangladesh, extending petroleum pipelines and electronic payment system are all positives. The emphasis was mainly on boosting confidence. It seems that that he definitely made India happy. Some of the major flaws with this visit include the fact that he did not bring up territorial disputes, the trade deficit, flood control, the EPG report, the President of Nepal's endorsement of the citizenship bill as a prerequisite to reviewing all issues by relevant bilateral agencies, and Nepal's increased orientation towards the south. In addition to this, the moral issues were not discussed. There was no discussions on Pancheshwar, some of the senior ambassadors in Nepal have doubt on execution or implementation of the projects signed during the visit. Last but not the least, let me share with you the perception of the former Prime Minister of India, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Mrs. Gandhi gave clear instruction to M.K. Rasgotra. I have the book here written by Maharaj Krishna Rasgotra, the former ambassador to Nepal. Prior sending to him to Nepal, what Indira Gandhi said is very interesting to note here. She said, Nepal's rulers cannot be trusted. She said, they say one thing and do the opposite. I do not like that. They are not our friends. I am sending you there because you know them. See what you can do to mend matters, but be firm in dealing with them. This impression still exists in the mind of political and diplomatic leadership in India. In present context, how Nepali leaders build trust and be credible as well as trustworthy partners, time will test them. The bottom line is there is a trust deficit in our relationship. Thank you very much for watching me. I will come up with the next edition of the program soon. Thank you.